let's talk curriculum. So I'm in a different place. It's a little dark. I was supposed to shoot these this afternoon, but obviously, life being what it is, the battery on the camera was not charged. So here I am. It's night. It's after the kids have gone to bed. My husband is working late tonight, so I have some time to myself, unless kids come out. But that never happens. So let's take some time to ourselves to talk curriculum. So ignore the state of this. We just got back from vacation, which sounds wonderful. We went to the beach. But any of you with kids, especially little kids, I have a under 2-year-old, you know that, those vacations are anything but relaxing because the baby doesn't sleep well, she doesn't eat well, she got a diaper rash really bad, and so it was fun, memories were made, but I'm exhausted and don't feel like doing my hair anytime soon. But that's okay. So excuse this, excuse anything behind me. I just want to talk curriculum. Today I'm going to be talking about my oldest son's curriculum picks for this coming school year, which is going to be 2021-2022 school year. He will be moving into 6th grade. And I feel like this is where I am supposed to say, oh, where has the time gone? Time has gone by so fast. But I guess maybe it hasn't really hit yet because we are at home. This last year was our first year homeschooling, so this will be our 2nd year. Because I don't see him physically making that transition from elementary school to middle school, I'm not really sure it feels completely real. So that being said, I don't know, to me it feels like we're just marching forward, but it almost feels like not much has changed. So I guess I'm not quite there yet, but maybe I'll get there as we go along. I guess we'll see. So for his curriculum, I put a lot of thought into this because I don't know how long we are going to be homeschooling. I am not one of the homeschoolers who feels like I will say with 100% certainty that I am going to homeschool through high school. I don't know. I am taking this year by year through prayer, through inspiration from my Heavenly Father. That's how I'm deciding each year if we are going to homeschool or maybe someday head back into the public school realm. I'm not nixing anything at this point. But because of that, I want to make sure I have a really good foundation laid for those high school years in case we are still doing this in high school. So I spent a lot of time thinking, planning out that track, where I want to be in 3 years when he starts high school, so that I'm prepared and I don't get to that point and say, oh, I didn't think I would be here and now I'm not prepared. So because of that, put a lot of time and thought into all of his subjects, and including his electives. I wanted him to make sure he had a fulfilling year because I couldn't give him things like band through high school and orchestra and all of those things that can come that start in middle school in our state. Luckily, I asked him, I was feeling really bad that he was going to miss out on band. I finally asked him and he said I didn't want to do band anyways. So that was a huge weight off my shoulder, and I asked him what he wanted to do. So we're going to go over those electives in a minute that he decided he wanted to do. A little bit was stuff I felt like he needed to do. But these are just his individual subjects. His family subjects we will discuss later. So for his individual, we are continuing with Saxon Math. He is in Saxon 6.5. He will be, I think he's about 2/3 of the way through this book. So he should finish 6.5 end of October probably and move to Saxon 7.6. So I have yet to get Saxon 7.6. I am hoping that maybe my cousin will not be using that level. She has 7 kids and they use Saxon. So she has almost all the books. And so depending on what levels her kids end up being in, I can oftentimes use her actual textbook. So here's to hoping that she doesn't have a 7-6. She's not quite sure what level her kids are going to be on, because sometimes they skip levels and I don't know. They don't do it the same as I do. It's just good for them. Their kids are great at math. Scotty needs to just move step by step slowly through math. So Saxon it is. For language arts, we will be continuing with the good and the beautiful. He is currently in level 4 of the good and the beautiful. I really am loving this level 4. I was a little underwhelmed, I think, with level 3. I felt like it worked fine, but it was a little bit underwhelming. I've said before in my other videos that I feel like I put him in too low of a level, so maybe that was the problem. My other son is going to be doing level 3 next year, so we'll see if maybe I like it better when he is doing it and he's on level. But I really like this level 4 because I love the writing guide that goes with it, or the writing workshops. I think it is making him really grow and develop as a writer, and I am loving it. I also really, really like the geography in this. It's so much more fun than geography, or than level 3 was. So if you've tried level 3 and maybe you're a little on the fence about those younger levels, level 4 is worth it. He is about halfway through. We're continuing to work through it this summer, hoping he will finish unit 4, which will leave him with 3 units to do when we start, which again should finish him about the end of October, the way we've been doing it. We've kind of been cutting some things out because, like I said, I started him too low. I feel he's a little behind. So we are pulling some things out of this and really just getting the meat of what he needs and moving on. But I'm also not in a huge rush because they are revamping their level 5. I am really hoping they come out with the level 5 in time for whenever we finish. So I'm really glad actually we did not finish level 4 last year because we would be using the old level 5. I'm hoping that the new level 5, which everyone says is really good, but I'm really hoping they come out with it being more like this. It's a little bit more like the other levels. I really hope they come out with these 2 different books. I don't know. I just really love the way this is set up. It's awesome. So that is going to be the core of our work. Because he is a little bit behind in the level he should be on, but his ability level I feel like is higher than that, I am going to do a little bit of supplementing. So we only do language arts 4 days a week, and Fridays we usually take off. So on Fridays he is going to be working through spectrum writing. We are skipping the first section because that's creative writing, and I feel like so far The Good and the Beautiful is doing a great job with creative writing. So he is going to start with writing to inform, and he is only going to do it on Fridays. So it will take him a while to get through. I am hoping we can get through the 2 sections that are writing to inform and writing an argument. And I like the way this is set up. It's very simple, it's very easy, very basic, bare bones, but looks like it just gets the job done and teaches the information. So this is what he will be doing on Fridays only. Another thing we're adding in, he is really a great writer. I love reading what he does. He does a great job choosing descriptive words. Because of that, I really want to grow and develop his vocabulary so he has more options. So we are also going to be starting to go through vocabulary cartoons with him. I think this looks really fun, really funny. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. It just looks like a really fun way to learn vocabulary. So this is something he'll be working on just once or twice a week. It's going to be in a loop schedule with handwriting and typing. So I'm kind of including those in his language arts section of this video because along with vocabulary, he's going to loop with, he's going to do typing 1 because he is always typing, always writing stories on the computer. So I'd like for him to get just better at it so that he can go a little quicker and it won't be quite so frustrating. So hopefully this will help and he'll enjoy it. And we're going to be doing Handwriting 4. So the way we're going to work this is the 3 of them will be on I haven't decided if it's a 4-day or a 5-day loop because Fridays we like to take a half day. So probably a 4-day loop. So only one of these will get done twice a week. The others will only get done once a week, but it will change as it goes. So he's in Handwriting 4. We did not use the Good and the Beautiful for handwriting last year. We just kind of messed around with handwriting on our own. His handwriting is really bad. So we're gonna give this a shot. I've heard really good things about it. We did start Cursive on our own last year, so I decided to start him in 4 because it is a lot of cursive, but still does some print. Level 3 is where they start Cursive. I feel like that would be a little too low for him and he would not really enjoy it. So the other thing that I am adding into his language arts is I would like for him to try a couple of book studies. So this is the book study for The Golden Goblet. This is the first assigned book he's going to have next year. It's going to go with our history unit. And I thought it would be good to try this. We have never done anything like this before. And looking through it, I really like where it goes, but I'm afraid it's going to be a little too much. So I'm only committing to doing 1 next year. I'm hoping we end up enjoying it so that we can do a second one during the second half of the year, but I don't know what book we'll do it for at this point. So this is something we're just going to give a shot. Along with that, some of the other books he does, I'm going to require him to do some sort of a book report, whether that is writing me a summary or a book review, or creating something from it, whatever. We're going to do it in different ways, but I'm going to require a couple of book reports from him as well instead of just read the book and move on, which is what we did last year. So that'll be different. So going into his assigned books, I have 3 of them picked out based on our history units. So our first history unit is on ancient Egypt, which that's why he's doing The Golden Goblet. So if you want to know more about this, I guess you can let me know and I can talk about them a little bit more in depth, but not really going to go into it. He's just going to be doing The Golden Goblet. For our second history unit, we will be during the Renaissance time. He is going to read Crispin the Cross of Lead. This is actually a series, but we're just doing the first one for now. I haven't decided. I guess I'll leave it up to him if he wants to continue reading about Crispin or if he just wants to stop on this first one. This is the one that will be required of him for now. And then our third unit takes us to the Revolutionary War. And I am not 100% set on this book yet. I like to read his books first to decide if I like them. Originally, I had thought I was going to do The Witch of Blackbird Pond, but after reading it, I realized it was set in the wrong time period. It was a little too early, so we'll actually do it the next year. But I'm thinking we will do Sophia's War. I just started this today, and I'm already loving it. My cousin, this is like her favorite book. We love Abby. Crispin is by Abby. She wrote or he wrote, I think it's a he actually. Anyways, whoever it is, wrote The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle, which was my favorite book growing up for a long time. So I'm thinking this is going to fit really good. I like that it has a female lead. It's really easy to find male leads and most of his books will have male leads. But I think just as much for boys as it is for girls, it's really good for them to read books that have female leads so that they realize that females are pretty awesome too. So I really like the idea of this. They do not have a Progeny Press book study for this, but I did see that there's one that was created on Teachers Pay Teachers. So I may look into that if we like this Progeny Press. I may look into that as our second book study and you do it with this. So our fourth history unit will take us to modern times. We'll talk about communism, we'll talk about like the fall of the Berlin Wall, we will talk about, I'm really not even sure what all we're talking about in that section. It kind of jumps all over in the like modern history realm of things. And it's very short. It's the shortest of all the sections. So because of that, I haven't settled on a book for that time period yet. I am looking into something like Inside Out and Back Again. I've heard great things about. I haven't read before. Oh shoot, there was a really awesome one about a girl in Korea. I think it was Korea when the Japanese took over and she had to change her name, but her name was really Kyoko. Now I can't remember. Anyways, and it sounded really good too. But if anyone has any suggestions for that time period, I would love to hear them. For his other assigned reading books, I guess I said read alouds a second ago. I meant assigned readers. I'm not actually going to assign him readers. So he will be assigned the 4 readers, or at least 3 readers for his history. I haven't decided if I'm for sure even going to assign one for the end there. We'll see where we're at that point. But in between, I just have a bunch of books that he's never read that I think he would enjoy or that I would like for him to read. And I will let him pick which ones of those he wants to read. So the only ones he's assigned are these 3, Golden Goblet, Crispin, and probably Sophia's War. And then maybe a 4th one for the end of history, but I don't know yet. Anything in between, because this last year I think he read about 15 books. Anything in between there he will get to choose from my list of books which one he thinks sounds the best and the most entertaining, and those are ones that he will do book reports for so that he can find fun ways to do those. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about electives. He will be doing 3 electives. There will be one that he does the first semester, one that he does the second semester, and one that will span the whole year because it will only be done on Fridays. So the first one, the one he will be doing first, is Health and PE. So we have this teen health book. It's pretty simple. You just go through and you have whatever information it is that you're reading, and then there's a lesson review with some vocabulary and some questions to answer at the end of each little section, each little lesson. He may do a couple in a day. I haven't decided how often per week he's going to do this. Still working on that. And then at the end of each chapter, there is a little test so that I can easily see that he's getting this. So sometimes he'll read this on his own, and sometimes I'll go over it with him. Depends on the subject matter and what of my other kids I am teaching at the time, like my time constraints. So that will be the health portion. The PE portion, he will hopefully be playing soccer again, and he will be running. This past year he did cross country, which I loved, but he doesn't really want to do it like officially again, but I would like for him to run. So he will be required for his PE credit to run a certain number of miles per week, and that will then get longer as the time goes on. So that is his first semester elective. His second semester elective I asked him what he wanted to learn, and he said, because he was at the time wanting to become an Army medic, he wanted to start learning more first aid. So we are going to take this Everything First Aid book, and I am just going to create my own course for him. We will just look it up. We will do some actual practice on pretend on each other. You know, I'll have him practice doing slings on his brothers, you know, Heimlich maneuvers, CPRs on babies, baby dolls, you know. And no, this will not like certify him in any way, but it will give him that basic knowledge. So this is something we are doing the second semester because I still have to create pretty much the whole curriculum. And then his third elective, he told me he wants to start a foreign language, but mom is not ready to tackle that beast yet. This is only my second year of homeschooling. I have 4 kids. 3 of them will be in school this next year. I'm still getting used to this. So I wasn't ready to tackle a full foreign language. So we compromised. I speak sign language. So I told him I'll start teaching him sign language. So this is going to be, I don't know if you will call it our course book because it's mostly worksheets to answer questions about, so it gives them, so you have some of your vocabulary words as you go along. It gives you practice to do with other people. I also like it because it gives notes on grammar, like what order do you say the words in, so that he has something to read. I guess this is his curriculum book. It also gives him, I love this part, culture notes. Okay, information about how the deaf community communicates certain information to each other. What information do they generally deem the most important to do the first time you meet somebody? It's a little bit different than it is in the hearing world. It also talks about deaf universities and how they were created, when they were created, the history of them. So I'm really glad he's going to get to know that. This is actually the same book I used in my college sign language course. So this is what he's going to be using. But we are also going to be using lifeprint.com. So if you are interested in learning sign language, lifeprint.com is wonderful. It has an entire first year course. It's broken up into, I think it's 32 lessons that you can go through, and it gives you, these are the vocabulary words you're learning, this is the cultural and grammatical notes you're needing to learn. These are, it gives you that information on the history that you can read online. So I'm going to be combining that with this book and creating my own, just how I'm going to teach them, what order I'm going to teach things in, refreshing my own memory. And we're actually going to be doing this with my cousin's kids, her 3 older kids. So she will have a 15-year-old, almost 12-year-old, and an 11-year-old. Well, yeah, a 12-year-old and an 11-year-old, along with my 11-year-old son. So we will have 4 of them in the class so that they can practice with each other, because sign language, like any other language, is so much easier to master if you have somebody to practice with. So those are my 6th grade curriculum picks for next year, my individual picks. Obviously, I did not go over history, science, or some of the things that will be in our morning basket. So those will be coming in our group subjects. Have a good night.